This is the review kind of practice test, test form 1A. These are the things we've gone over. Hopefully you've had a chance to try these problems and you're just checking your answer. If you got stuck on one, then you'll be able to see how you did here. All right, let's do the first one. I know that I want to make everything into a fraction, so I go like that. So I have 1/5 times 26th over 1. And when you do the test, I'm going to want you, or when you do the final chapter check-in, I'm going to want you to show me your steps. Even go from this to write it out, 1/5 times 26. Okay, and then I'm not going to do any cross simplifying. I can't. So I'm going to go 1 times 26, 26, and then 5 times 1 is 5. Now I want to get this in the simplest form. So I go 26 divided by 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, it gives me 1. So I don't want 5 remainder 1. I want this into a fraction. So it's 5 and 1/5. So my answer is 5 and 1/5. Okay. Number 2. It's both into a fraction, so I can just go right away 11. Well, you know what? I'm going to cross simplify. I know that 4 goes into that, and 4 goes into that. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 11 times 1 is 11 over 3 times 5 is 15. I can't simplify it. The one on the top is smaller than the one on the bottom, so that's good. So I can't divide it. We're all good. That's my answer. Okay, number 3. I want to get this into, I need to get this one into an improper. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So I have 10/3 times 5/6. Now the 3 and the 5 I can't do anything with, but the 10 and the 6, I can divide each of those in half. Now that gets me 5 here, and that gets me 3 here. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 3 is 9. The one on top is bigger, so it means I can go 25 divided by 9. 9 goes into 25 2 times. That's 18. Subtract that out. Gets me 7. I don't want a remainder 7. I want a fraction, 2 7/9. And that is my answer. Okay? Let's go down here. Okay. We have Jolie's necklace is 10 1/4 inches long. Aaron's necklace is 2 2/3 times as long. About how long is Aaron's necklace? Okay, so it's times. So 10, if I'm going to show my steps, this is what I'm going to do. 10 times 2 2/3. Okay? So I write out my problem. Now my first step is to get it into improper fractions. So 4 times 10 is 40 times 1, or plus 1 is 41. 41/4 times 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 8/3. Okay, I'm showing my steps. Now I can see that this divided by 4, and this can divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. 41 times 2 is 82. 3 times 1 is 3. Now this one on bigger, the one on top is way bigger. So I need, in my next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to show my work, 82 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 2 times. 6, subtract it out, that's 2. Bring down my 2. 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract that out, it gets me 1. Now no more numbers to pull down, So I want a fraction, not a remainder. There's a 1 right here, 1, and then 3 is my denominator. 27 and 1, oops, where'd that go? 27 and 1/3. Okay. And that's how long Aaron's necklace is. Okie dokie. Let's keep going. These are going to be multiple choice. So, I'm still going to show my work. 4, 1 times 1, 8. Now I see I can simplify the top and the bottom here. Divide each by 4. That becomes a 1. This becomes a 2. 1 times 1 equals 1. 1 times 2 equals 2, 1/2. So my answer is D. All right, number 6. I can see that I can't cross simplify anything, so I'm just going to go right across. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 6 is 18. 1/18. It's that one. Okay. This one, I got to show my steps to get it to impropers. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 5 halves, or 5/2, times 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 3 halves. Can't simplify anything, so then I go across. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 2 is 4. The top is so big, I know I can go 15 divided by 4. 4 goes into 15 3 times. It's 12. I subtract that out. It gives me 3. I want a fraction. 3/4. 3 3/4. Okay. Let's keep going on. Number 8. What is the area of a room that is 3 3/4 by 3 1/3? Area is where you multiply the length and the width, so you're multiplying these. So it's 3 3/4 times 3 1/3. I'm showing all of my steps. So I want to make it into an improper. 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14, 15 fourths times 3 times 3 is 9 times 1 is 10 thirds. Okay? I can simplify both. I can cross this, I can divide by 2. This I can divide by 2. This gets me 5. This gets me 2. This way I can divide each by 3. This gets me 1, and this gets me 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 1 is 2. The one on top is so much bigger, so I'm going to go 25 divided by 2. Goes in there one time. That equals 0. Bring down my 5. Goes in there 2 times. That's 4. Subtract out, I get 1. And I want a fraction, not a remainder. 12 1/2. 12 1/2. It's right here. Okay. Olivia ate 1/4 of a pizza. There were 12 slices of pizza. How many slices did Olivia eat? Okay. 1/4 of a pizza. So it's going to be 1/4 times 12. So I go 1/4 times 12 over 1. Now I'm going to simplify or reduce each side. Divided by 4, not 3. 4 divided by 4 and 12 divided by 4. That equals 1. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. 1 times 3 equals 3. 1 times 1 is 1. When it's ever 3, so 3 is bigger on top. So I could do this. 3 divided by 1 goes in there 3 times. Get 0. There's no remainder, so my answer is 3. 3 slices. Okay. What is the area of a rectangle with a length of this and a width of this? Okay, so I set my problem up. 1/3 times 3/4. Now I see I can divide this by 3, divide this by 3, That gets me 1. That gets me 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 1/4. Okay? Cool. Let's go to the next page. So that was the first 10. Now we have 11 through 20. All right, number 11. Now, sometimes you look at these words and they confuse you, but I want you to look at the picture mainly. If we know that this one square is 12, and these are all the same size, so they're each going to be 12. And the question is not how much this one is, we know that. The question is how much are these three together? So it's 12 times 3, which is 12 times 3, 36. There you go. Okay, look at the pictures. Make sure you see when I show a diagram like that. Number 12. Nora has 2/3 ton of stone and spread equally into 4 square yards. How many tons of stone will she spread into each yard? Okay, so this is not a conversion of tons to yards. You can't do that. But she's taking this 2/3 ton of stone and spreading it equally in 4 square yards. Okay, so she's going to take 2/3 divided into the 4, divided equally in 4 ways. So 2/3 divided by 4. Okay, so now we have 2/3 divided 4 ways. So I set up my problem. I want to make it into a fraction. 2/3 divided by 4/1. Now I can't divide fractions, so I have to do my keep, change, change. Keep, change, change. I keep the 2/3. I change that to be multiplication, and I change that to be 1/4. Then I can cross simplify. Divided by 2, divided by 2. That equals 2, that equals 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. 1/6 of a ton. Okay? All right, now let's go to all of these division problems, and you want to show me your steps, how you're doing it. So this first one, I have to get it to a multiplication before I cross simplify it. So I keep, change, change. Keep my 3/4, change that to multiplication, and change that to 8/1. Then I can divide each of these by 4. That becomes a 2. That becomes a 1. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Anytime something is over 1, it's just the number. So my answer is 6. Okay. First thing I do here is I make it all into a fraction. Oops, divided by 4/5. Okay. 2/1 divided by 4/5. So now I keep, change, change. I keep my 2/1, then I change that to be times, and I change that to be 5/4. Now I'm going to cross simplify. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. 2 divided by 1 equals 1. So now I get 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. The top number is too big, so I go 5 divided by 2. Goes in there 2 times. Subtract it out, leaves me with 1. I want a fraction. 2 1/2. Okay. All right, next one. I'm going to set it up. I want to get it fraction, fraction, and even if it's improper. 3/1 divided by 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 5/4. Okay? Now I'm going to keep, change, change. Keep the first one, change the symbol, and change the next one. Okay. Now, can't cross simplify it, so I go 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 5 is 5. The one on top is too big. 12 divided by 5 goes in there 2 times, that's 10. I don't want a remainder, I want a fraction. 2 and then fifth. 2 and 2/5. There you go. Number 16. 16. Set it up. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. 4/3 divided by 2/3. Okay, now I'm ready for the keep, change, change. Keep the first one, change the symbol, and change the second one. There you go. Now I can do a lot of cross simplifying. Divide this by 3, divide this by 3, gets me 1, 1. Divide this by 2, divide this by 2, that gets me 2, that gets me 1. 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. Anything over 1 is just a number, it's 2. G. Okay. All right, number 17. Let's get them both into improper, keeping the division before we change it. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Divided by 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 5/3. Okay. Now I'm going to keep, change, change. Keep the first one, change the symbol, and change the second one. Now I see I can divide this by 5 and this by 5. That gets me 5. That gets me 1. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2. The one on top is way bigger. So I go 15 divided by 2. Goes in there. What? Did I do something wrong? 7, 14, 1 and 7 and 1/2. Okay, so when you're doing multiple choice and you do something just like I did, and you get the wrong answer, or you don't get an answer that's there, then you got to try again. So I must have made a mistake because it wasn't there. Let me try. I'll even, I gotta be real careful on this one, I guess. So 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 25 over 6 divided by 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5/3. Oh, I think I put the wrong number here. Okay. Now I'm going to keep, change, change. 25, 6, I keep that, change that, and change that. Yep. So now I can divide this by 3, this by 3. That's going to give me 2, that's going to give me 1. Divide this by 5, this by 5. That gets me 5, that gets me 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 is bigger. So I go 2, that's 4, subtract that out of 1. I want a fraction, 2 and 1/2. There you go. Okay, this one is a conversion. And the way we do it is I want to get this into just a improper fraction. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. 14/3 yard. There you go. If you do this on your test, I would suggest, if it's too sloppy, then erase it and try again, because we want to make it neat. 14/3 yard equals so many feet. Okay, so I know I have 14/3 yards. I'm going to times it by some ratio to get me my answer. Okay? And if I have yards over here, I need yards here, and yards, and I need feet here. So now I say how many feet are in a yard? 3 feet into 1 yard. Okay? So then this yard cancels to this yard. And this I can divide by 3. Divide this by 3. Gets me 1. Gets me 1. So 14 times 1 is 14. 1 times 1 is 1. There's a feet that goes with it. 14 over 1 feet. And anything over 1 is just the number, so it's 14 feet right there. Okay? Pounds to ounces. Okay, I'll give you, when you have something like ounces to pounds, I'll give you what the conversion is. So it's 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Okay, I'll make sure you have that. Because now, when you have this, 68 ounces equals so many pounds. So I take my 68 ounces, I'm going to times it by some ratio to get me my answer. Now I have ounces over here, so I want ounces over here, so those can cancel it. But I'm looking for pounds to be my total answer. So I'm going to get rid of, oops, I better put my pounds to ounces. 1 pound to 16 ounces. So my ounces can cancel each other out. This I can divide by, I would say, I could divide this by 4. 68 divided by 4. And divide this by 4. I know that's going to get me 4. And this is going to get me 17. 17 times 1, 17 pounds, over 4 times 1 is 4. So now 17, I'm going to go 17 divided by 4, goes in there 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. Subtract that, leaves me 1. I want a ratio, 4 and 1/4. So that's what it is. Okay. All right, let's look at 20. This is our final one. Addison makes 11 quarts of punch for her party. How many gallons of punch did she make? Okay, so what we have is we have 11 quarts equals how many gallons? We don't know. Okay, so that's what we got to figure out. Now, the one thing I need to know is how many quarts are in a gallon. How many quarts are in
All right, here's what I...
Okay.
Sorry, I missed that.
Uh-huh. How many quarts are in a gallon?
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm having a hard time with Surrey right now. Okay, let's try again. Here we go. How many quarts are in a gallon? How many quarts are in a gallon? How many quarts are in a gallon? Okay, so 4 quarts equal 1 gallon. Okay, so now that we know if 4 quarts equal 1 gallon, we're going to take 11 quarts times some ratio to get me how many gallons I have. So I'm going to make that into a fraction. Quarts is on top here, so quarts is on, on the bottom there. And then I want gallons, so I do that. So I know for every 4 quarts, there's 1 gallon. Okay, the quarts cancel each other out. 11 times 1 is 11 gallons, divided by 1 times 4 is 4. So 11 over 4 gallons. Now, I'm going to use my calculator. It has it into a decimal, And if I just go 11 divided by 4 equals 2.75 gallons. Okay. All right, so hopefully if you know how to do these problems, you should be good with the final chapter check. And multiplying and dividing fractions. That's our learning target. That's what you need to be able to do. Okay?